Chapter 12. After school on Monday, Ben sits at home in front of the computer. The notes for his geography report are scattered all over the desk. Printouts about the Sonoran Desert, pictures of saguaro cactuses with mountains in the distance, and maps of southern Arizona. So why can't he start writing his report? Thinking about the desert makes him think about the lizards. Thinking about lizards makes him think about Lenny. Thinking about Lenny makes him think about Toby. He rummages through the pictures of the desert and stops at one he had almost forgotten. The word rummage here means he's looking through the pictures. The heading says, Couch's Spadefoot. It looks a lot like Mrs. Tibbet's Spadefoots, except it has yellowish spots all over its back instead of the two stripes. Weird that there are Spadefoots in the desert, too, he thinks. He reads the text under the drawing. There's no mention of being endangered or threatened. I guess the Spadefoots haven't lost as much habitat down there, Ben says to himself. He wonders why Mrs. Tibbetts isn't making more of an effort to stop the land from being sold. The adult world is like a big wall, Ben thinks. You can't see through it, you can't get over it. How is a kid supposed to understand what they're doing on the other side? He types Massachusetts Spadefoot vernal pools into the computer and looks at the search page. More than 800 listings come up. Some of them look pretty technical, but he clicks on about a dozen of them. Every time he sees the word Spadefoot, his heart leaps. This is his word. These are his Spadefoots. He finds a page about kids that teaches about Spadefoots and salamanders in vernal pools. He prints out a color photograph of an eastern Spadefoot, but none of this is what he's looking for. Then he comes across a reference to the Massachusetts Fisheries and Wildlife Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program. It's an article about saving vernal pools. He tries to read through it, but it's too full of scientific details and difficult words. He's about to try another listing when he spots something about halfway down the last page. It's a place to send questions or comments. Ben stares at it for a minute. Then he types, I need help. There's a vernal pool with Spadefoots in it near my house. The land is being sold and there is no place for the toads to go. How can I save them? He puts his name in a box at the bottom and then adds his phone number. By the way, do not add your phone number to some place you find online. Do not do that. He doesn't believe anyone will answer him. He's just a kid. But so what, he thinks. They won't know this is from a kid. Just as he hits send, his mother comes into the room. What are you doing? Well, nothing. I'm trying to find out about vernal pools. What are they? They're places where toads live, like on Mrs. Tibbetts' land. Ben, shouldn't you be finishing your desert report? I know. You take care of your homework, all right? Let Mrs. Tibbetts take care of her toads. Ben looks back at his computer screen and she finally leaves. He glances over at the printer and pulls out the sheet of paper. The Spadefoot in the photograph stares at him. He can almost hear it calling. Here it is, Ben says, showing the picture. Sorry, Goliath jumped on the table. Ben says, showing the picture in the book to Ryan and Jenny. Here's the Spadefoot. Ryan bends over a page for a close look. It's just a regular looking toad. It's kind of cute though, Jenny says, in a toad-like kind of way. I know they look regular, but there are hardly any left around here. Ben closes the book. It was really cool to see them. There were all these toads in the pond swimming around, and they were all calling out. And Mrs. Tibbetts and I were laughing about the overtoad. The overtoad? Ryan blurts out. What's that? A huge toad with superpowers that looks after all the Spadefoots. Is there really a big toad like that? Ryan asks, hopping back and forth from one foot to the other. No, you dummy, Jenny says. It's just a story. Yeah, but it sounded like it was there. I wish it was, Ben says. We could use the overtoad, even here at school. He hands the book back to Ryan. It's almost time for school to start. Here, he says, you can take it back. Thanks, it was cool to look at.